everybody, how's it going? Wow, already. All right, intros. Not having luck with intros this week. Red Glare listeners know what I'm talking about. How's it going, everybody? That was another fantastic overtime win for the Kraken. That 3-on-3 practice this week kind of coming in handy just a little bit, I would say. They three straight games going to overtime, pick up the 2 points tonight in a big game against the Kings. Obviously, the Kings in front of us in the division, a couple games in hand on them though. So this was a big one to get those 2 points. Kind of a bummer that the Kings get a point out of it, but I still think that that's a big deal, and it's a big deal that pick up a power play goal tonight. We'll talk about that later. The fact that you again prove you can win in overtime, and that the work you put in on that paid off, and you're seeing results from it. That's just always good in life, right? Anytime you put work into something, you want to see those results from it, and it's great all the way around. Yeah, just a fantastic game. We should have an awesome ECH post game live. There we are, presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall up there. Really, really excited for this one. Let me jump into chat here, see how everybody's doing. I think I have a good idea how everybody's feeling after that one, but we'll look just in case. Coop, hee-haw, baby, let's go. I know, Coop, this was such an exciting one. Tie with the Ebbs. Coop with the Eberle stays hot. I'm telling you, that was a fantastic goal from Eberle. Like that he shot the puck, right? Like it's the 2-on-1 situation. We know the Kraken at times struggle with this whole, hey, should we be doing should we pass here or whatever? Bottom line was no, the Kings defenseman did a good job taking away that passing lane. Eberle had that clean look at Cal Peterson, and he took the shot and he scored. Really, really happy about that. Like that Burakovsky did something similar earlier on. Kraken had a lot of good looks in this one, and I thought that a couple more posts. It's getting brutal, the amount of posts the Kraken are hitting. I'm telling you, it's getting really, really brutal, but it was still a really, really fun game, really, really solid game. The big one was that Daniel Sprong power play goal right after the Kings score the shorty. Make sure the Kings don't get any momentum there. They don't get to have a lead really for long at all in this game. Really, really liked that one. Krakenhawk, yeah, buddy, beat LA. We did it. The overtime play has greatly improved for sure. Jules, let's go. This win makes me want to go to work tomorrow in Kraken gear and party. Let's go, Jules. Striatic, masters of overtime. We're getting there. We are definitely getting there. Ty, what a chess match of a game yet again. It was a really fun back and forth, kind of third period there. The second period had elements of that. I felt like the Kraken did a good job and kind of won the first period. Kings won the second period. And then I thought that third period, it was anybody's game. And it was so exciting. How awesome is it to have so many watchable, enjoyable, kind of almost playoffy atmosphere type games? You know what I mean? This season from the Kraken, it's been stellar. It's been absolutely awesome. And then the fact that this was that division game with that team you're fighting for, spots in the standings with, like just cranked it up to 11. It was a lot of fun, And I like the broadcast tonight too, having Allison between the glass and everything. That was really cool. CR Bud 3v3 practice. Practice makes perfect. What can we say? Really need Maddie to stop hitting the post. It's like 4 in the last 3 games, man. I swear, from Coop there. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. I don't know. I think it's just what happens sometimes, right? We saw it last year with Eberle just going through kind of some scoring slumps from time to time. Obviously, Donskoy had the big one. Bjorkstrand's in that scoring slump now. But yeah, at some point they're going to start falling for Maddie. At some point, great job earning that power play though in the second period, I believe. That was just all effort play from Maddie Beniers. That's that high motor working, and it was just, yeah, Kings had no choice but to take a penalty there. Good on him. Love that. Lots of Kraken hockey, baby, all that good stuff in here. Striatic, may Daniel Sprong never be scratched again. I think you're probably going to get your wish with that one, Striatic. I really do, because Daniel Sprong is playing lights out right now. Gets that, like I said, that huge goal. That is a massive goal to score in that moment. Make sure that the Kings only have a lead in this game for not even 20 seconds. Not even 20 seconds. The Kings only led in this game for, if I could do math right, 18 seconds. This is at the start of that third period. That's unbelievable. And it wasn't just that one goal from Daniel Sprong. He had other good chances and other good looks too. He's just playing really, really well. There's just no other way to say it. Absolutely loving having some Daniel Sprong in the lineup. Really, really do. Lindsay, let's go. Make it 2 OT wins in a row. It is. And they're just keeping it rolling, continuing building a nice point streak here. Like they're absolutely crushing it. I got to think. Let me go to the standings page because their last like 10 must look ridiculous. Their record over their last 10 games. Yeah, 7-2-1. That's awesome. 15 points out of the last 10 games. That's awesome. That's incredible. This team is just firing on all cylinders right now. We're seeing it all facets of the game, offensively, defensively, goaltending. Martin Jones, another super solid performance from him, and then the special teams getting in there as well. It's a good one. Let's see. CR Bud, thank you for the super chat. Hit my favorite burger joint today, and the owner had a Go King sign. Food tasted great, but he can taste this L. Ah, ah, great one there, CR Bud. That's a good one. That is a good one. Definitely got to flex on him next time you go in there for sure. And thank you one more time for the super chat. Really, really appreciate that one. Uh, Gregory, back-to-back overtime wins, baby. Hashtag you love to see it. We do love to see it, Gregory. It's awesome. Glad to have you back in chat here. Some more good stuff here. Brian, I hear this is where the winners hang out. That's right. That's right. This is where 15 points in your last 10 games kind of people hang out. It's really, really awesome. I'm waiting for the standings page to fully update too. You can kind of get a look at the larger view of everything. But great way to start off this whole stretch, in the division, right? Like this is going to be a long, brutal period here where we're going to be playing within this division. And this is the way you want to start it off. Just really controlling a game that at times was going to be uncontrollable, and like I said, just get everybody going. That's what it's all about. Lindsay, would have been cool to not allow that shorthanded goal and to win it in regulation, but overtime sure is exciting / terrifying / nerve wracking. 3v3 overtime. They knew what they were doing when they transitioned to the 3v3 overtime. It is definitely, from an entertainment standpoint, a lot better than the 4-on-4, but yes, it gets scary really fast. Really, really fast. That being said, I don't know. I just kind of felt it. I felt like the Kraken were going to be in this one. I really did. So weird to have real hope in the 3-on-3 game from Trips there. I know, right? Like all we had to do was practice it. Now we're back and it's all like good and we can do these. I will be curious at what point we get to a shootout though. Like at some point that's got to happen, right? Especially if we're going to make these overtime appearances a regular occurrence. Got to think we'll get a shootout at some point. Christopher won the faceoff battle 58% to 42%. Perfect 8 for 8 on the power play. PK and 4v4, 0 for 3 in overtime. Let's see here. So yes, definitely won the face-off game, and again, it's just kind of bucking the trend that I was seeing, which was we could only win when we lost the face-off battle. Definitely picking up wins there. 1 for 3 on the power play tonight. I'm just happy to see that goal, and really on the other one. The other one that was like a legitimate power play, because obviously one of those is counting that little bit of time before Jaden Schwartz took the penalty and it became 4-on-4 and stuff. But of the 2 full power plays that the Kraken had, yes, you give up that shorthanded goal, but that's just an awkward play where Vince Dunn just gets caught kind of going for a puck, but he's not going to get there in time. Like he didn't really misplay it or misread it at all. That's just an unfortunate situation. It just happens every so often. You just got to kind of live with it and do your best. So that's what kind of happened in the shorthanded goal, in my opinion. Obviously, you get that incredible Sprong goal, but I just felt like they were moving the puck better tonight. They were utilizing their guys a little bit better. I liked having Matty Beniers kind of switching spots from time to time, working down low at times. It just felt like everybody was kind of on the same page for the first time in a way that we haven't seen them look those last couple games. Definitely going to ask RJ about, how much kind of work they maybe did on the power play, maybe morning skate today or practice yesterday. I believe practice was canceled yesterday though, or at least made optional. So I just felt like there was movement, there was puck movement, there was player movement. Daniel Sprong looking a lot like Jared McCann on that left side, if I do say so. Just not only was he set up for like the one timers, like when he scored that goal, but there were other times where he would kind of take it up higher, work a little more towards the middle of the ice, stay up high, really try to snipe a shot from that spot that Jared McCann traditionally likes to be in. So I liked seeing that. I liked kind of all the little wrinkles and how comfortable the players felt on the power play, how comfortable they felt switching spots with each other to get different looks and move the puck around. I just felt like this power play looked, light years better than they did those last couple games. Really, really happy about that one. And then, yeah, hold the Kings to 0 for 1 on the power play. Good discipline in this one. That's been, something we've talked about these last couple post-game lives was the discipline issue. Tonight, things were fine. Everything was great. And then the other one that I want to talk about before I jump back into chat, thanks everybody for letting me do this, is the block shots tonight. It was like a big deal in that first game against the Kings, second game of the season. We went into LA, we kind of manhandled them, out hit them by like a mile, and it was like this big physical affair. LA matched that physicality. You had to know they weren't going to let themselves get manhandled 2 games by the same team like that. But I thought the Kraken did a great job of supporting Martin Jones. They did a great job of keeping things to the perimeter, and then that also allowed them to get involved in the shot blocking game, picking up something from that Minnesota game we played a couple games ago, right? Kraken in this one, with the shot block advantage of 23-8. And I felt like that made a big difference. I felt that there was times that the Kings kind of put Cal Peterson out there to, they hung him out to dry a couple times, and the Kraken were, maybe not always able to capitalize on it, but they get a couple posts. They really kind of mess with him, and maybe that's how you get that Jordan Eberle goal in 3-on-3 overtime. But the Kraken did a fantastic job of supporting Martin Jones in this one. And anytime you can have 23 blocks like that, that's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So just wanted to give Kraken a shout out for that one. Sergeant Pickles going back to rewatch the winner just for the dopamine hit. Go for it, Sergeant Pickles. Got to keep that one on repeat. Definitely got to keep that one on repeat. Tammy knows what's up, man. If that didn't feel like a playoff game, I bought in now that we're a playoff capable team. I am too, Tammy. We'll talk about it on the deep dive. It'll come out on Monday, but yeah, it's this team is playing like a playoff team. That's for sure. They're finding different ways to win on any given night, like tonight, right? Block a ton of shots, get that face-off win advantage, work on that power play, get it going again, work on that overtime game, get that going, and win a couple games after the fact. Like work on the discipline problem. Like playoff teams are the teams that can spot their weaknesses and work on improving them so that they're no longer weaknesses. And that's really what this entire week has been for the Kraken. Discipline problem, let's deal with it. 3-on-3 overtime problem, let's deal with it. Power play's not looking so hot right now, let's deal with it. And we're seeing the results, and the results show in a game like this where you're playing a really tough divisional opponent. This is a big time game for you. It's a really back and forth kind of affair, lots of stuff going on, and by working on all 3 of those things makes the difference for your team coming out with the 2 points instead of having to leave with just the 1. And I'm really, really proud of the effort that the team has put into working on things this week. They had that long stretch of that kind of break between games. They were able to utilize that to the best of their abilities, clearly, because it's paid off huge for them. And yeah, I'm just really, really proud and happy with how the team is advancing and working through these things. And that's why I think this is all sustainable and why the Kraken can end up in a playoff spot later on in the season. All right, let's see here. Some more good celebrations. Jules, I'm going to see if I can work the tunnel next Kings game. Kings staff were so confident that they would beat the Kraken this game. Can't wait for work now. Oh, Jules, I got to think that that's going to be a fun one for you for sure there. Brian with the super chat. Last year, each game there would be passes to no one. This year, as a fan, I'm already anticipating our guy is going to be there. Hashtag chemistry. The team play this season, Brian, you were 100% right, 1,000% right. Well, let's go there. This team plays like a team, and that is something that wasn't always there last year. And again, last year, total mess Right. You're coming in. You got to deal with the COVID thing. You got to deal with being an expansion team. You got like a week and a half to meet each other, and then somehow see who works with who, what Hackstall wants to do with lines in a training camp before you're immediately thrown into the preseason and thrown into the fire. And then throughout the year, you have injuries pop up, COVID pops up. You hit the trade deadline, and a bunch of guys are out of there. You got Maddie coming in super late in the season, and it was just never. They had to hit the ground running so fast that there was never a chance for them to build that chemistry or develop that stuff. And then in this offseason, you work the offseason, you bring in guys like Burakovsky, Bjorkstrand, who are really good at what they want to do specifically, and they're also the kinds of guys that can come in and build chemistry with somebody and say, hey, this is how I like to play, to their line mate, and work something out between them. And it's all just paid off brilliantly for the Kraken so far this year. And yes, it's because they're playing a team-based game, and it's also that teamwork and that camaraderie and all of that buy-in as a team. Right, this time last year they were basically already out of the playoffs. It's hard to continually buy in and work on improving, something like a 3-on-3 overtime or the power play again, or whatever it is, face-offs, right? Like that's another thing that they've really improved on recently. It was hard for them to do that last year when you're this far into the season and you're already in like a 20-point hole. It's just like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And so I think that's been a big part of it too, is the fact that because things were working out early, it helps with that buy-in, and it helps that team go as a full unit that is going to work on those things and develop and get better. And it's just been really, really fun to see. Sergeant Pickles with the super chat. Happy birthday to Brian. Kraken win for you. Happy birthday, Brian, for sure. Yeah, sharing your birthday with who's the Kraken with the birthday today? Oh no, I forgot. Looking at the roster, Cale Fleury sharing a birthday with Cale Fleury. Cale Fleury had an interesting game. I thought Cale Fleury played really, really well, with the exception of the drop stick incident on that one play. It was only one play. But happy birthday, Brian. That's really awesome. Let's see. Shoot back up here. All right. Where are we going here? I don't think that the Kraken win that game in front of a rusty Grubauer. I'm excited to get him back in the rotation soon, though. That's from Striatic. Yes, I mean we had heard that Grubauer was going to be made available and potentially be totally ready for the weekend. I think Hackstall made the right call here. It's a big time game against a tough divisional opponent, someone you're really like going head to head with in the standings. Go with the guy that's playing good right now, with the hot goaltender. I think that that's totally fine. Pick and choose the spots for Grubauer. Give him those extra couple days, because you're now off until Wednesday. Give him those extra couple days. Groin injuries are the worst for goaltenders. They're just the absolute worst, because it's hard for them to know how bad it is, really, until they're in those spots where they're trying to make some desperation save, or they're trying to really, they're pushing with all of their might to get back across the crease. Like, that's, you can kind of practice that stuff, but until you're in that moment and the adrenaline is pumping and you're really pushing because you're that desperate to go make the save, you just don't know how that muscle's going to hold up, how all the ligaments and tendons and everything, all about it, is going to hold up. And so I think, Martin Jones, he's been looking really, really good. He was solid against this team earlier in the season. Go ahead, leave him in, let him get this win as he did, and let Grubauer get just that extra half week. I think that was a good call by Dave Hackstall. I really do. As far as the team playing in front, I think it's possible that the first time we see Grubauer, this team's going to be really, really pumped up and trying to play for him hard, because they want him to have success, right? He's their teammate. They like the guy. They want him to be just as successful as Martin Jones. I think we're going to see a good effort from the Kraken when Grubauer gets back in there. Sarah, what are your thoughts on Bjorkstrand swapping from the first to fourth line halfway through the game? Yeah, that's definitely something we should try to remember to talk to RJ about when he joins us in probably just a little bit, sometime the next 10 minutes or so. It's so hard because Bjorkstrand, We talked about it a little bit last post game, or maybe even the last two post games. Bjorkstrand, obviously, he's just been super unlucky going through the scoring slump. It's been brutal for him, absolutely brutal. I don't know if he's still the Kraken team shot leader because he hasn't been taking as many shots these last couple games. Burkowski might have passed him, but to still be sitting on just the one goal now, 18 games through the season is really tough. Because he was playing really, really well back when he was with Wenberg and Burakovsky. Did not think that he really matched stylistically with Tanev and Gord. Just didn't think that that was something that was working those last couple games. Um, I don't know. He's too good to be on the fourth line. We know that he's too good at helping to create offense. I mean, yes, he's sitting on the one goal, but he's got 9 points, right? Like he was contributing assists all through that time. And he was obviously generating a lot of shots for you. He was up to 55 shots coming into this game. That's again not nothing. That's if he's not leading the team, he's right there at the top of the board for them. So I felt like if you're going to be moving him around, I would rather move him back up and see if that kind of sparks him and helps him get going and get him out there because he's really good at helping drive possession. He's smart in the defensive zone. He's maybe not going to make the big defensive play for you, but he's one of those guys that's always going to be able to help join a rush, support the player trying to leave the zone, be a good outlet pass for a defenseman who maybe just wins a board battle deep in your own zone. He has a good way of playing down, like halfway down the boards and being available to them to move the puck to. So I want to see him get more than 12 minutes and 41 seconds a night. I think that's not going to help get him going. That's not going to help him break his slump. So I think the Kraken have to figure that one out. I think that's something that they're going to have to really look at hard over these next couple off days is how can we get where can we find the spot for him that we really think is going to help him get that next goal? Because I do think that once he gets that next one, they're going to start coming in bunches for him. He's going to score a bunch. He was playing way too well. He's generating way too many chances for it not to. But yeah, that was kind of my thought on it today was like, I understand why they're doing it, but I don't know that it's certainly not a long-term solution. I don't think it's a long-term solution. I don't know that they would think that it's a long-term solution either. I think it's just one of those in a game, you gotta make that read and make that call. And hey, they walked out of here with 2 points, so it was the right call to make for tonight. Lindsay Eberle's on a heater. He might be a streaky player, but for now he is on. He looks so smooth and confident tonight. I agree with that, Lindsay. Like I said, I don't know what they've been working on specifically. I mean, we know they worked on the 3v3 overtime. He obviously looked comfortable there. He looked, the power play they've been working on, it seems like, and stuff. But there, like a switch has been flipped for him here recently where he's just been feeling it. Maybe it's just since the kid, right? Getting that other kid in there. It's just pardon me, been agreeing with him. And that could be all of it. Text here. Is this RJ? It is RJ. Okay, so RJ's ready. Let me go add him in here real quick, and we get to hear because I got to imagine this was a pretty fun building to be in tonight. Gotta think. All right, RJ, how's it going? I got to imagine that was an awesome building to be in for this one.
Oh yeah, super fun. Another really close game, another overtime game. I mean, we've gotten our money's worth certainly, from these games. Any fan in attendance, you got to see a lot of bonus hockey. This was such a fun one to be at.
Yeah, I got to imagine. So that 3v3 overtime work that they did earlier this week, it's paying off. I think that's safe to say. I feel like this has been a week, and we'll talk about this on the deep dive. I feel like this little stretch for the Kraken has been all about working on what they were, kind of weak in, and figuring things out, right? The power play looked so much better tonight than it's looked these last couple games. Win the face-off war again. The discipline much better tonight than those last couple games. Like, just kind of what's been the feel around the team, in and around these morning skates and stuff, because I feel like they're really all buying in at this point and really playing as a unit.
Buy-in is a good way to describe it. I think systematic improvement is another way that I would put it. Just identifying areas of their game to get better at, and putting in the work to make that happen. I thought the power play, you had the struggle on the shorthanded goal. You had other, opportunities that looked better. That's something they worked on this morning. I think it could use a little bit more work than just a morning skate, but you've got this. Basically, it makes sense what they're identifying to go and improve and work on. So that's kind of been the mood. Funny enough, after the game, it almost felt like not so much like jubilation like the last couple wins, but just like they just finished a hard day of work. And I think given how this game is, given how physical a team the Kings are, I mean, I noticed a lot of board battles in this game, a lot of hard fought battles on the ice in this one. And I think honestly the Kraken were just kind of exhausted by it. That seemed to be kind of the mood in the locker room, but I have no issue with that. I mean, you just put in a really good hard effort against a big physical team like the Kings, and that's what it's all about. Dave Haxtell said this is the blueprint as far as like having these 1-goal games. The Kraken have been in a lot of 1-goal games recently. He said this is the blueprint. There are going to be a lot of those. We got to learn how to win those and how to play this way. And the Kraken are getting a lot of experience there.
Yeah, and you know what? Everything's working. Like I said, you win the special teams battle, you win the discipline battle, you win the face-off battle. Like, these are all things that'll help get you there when you're talking about playing in 1-goal games, right? Those are the little things that end up making the difference in games like that. And then the one thing where things were not close, right? Even shots were tied in this one at 29. Blocked shots. Kraken did a fantastic job, particularly throughout that entire first period. I thought they did such an amazing job of keeping the Kings out to the perimeter. The Kings are a team that love to attack kind of that midway through the offensive zone, right? They love to move the puck in there. They love to get guys open in the slot. They love to cross through the slot and make things happen. And the Kraken were doing a fantastic job, just as they did earlier this season when they played the Kings, of keeping them to the outside and then helping out Jones with 23 blocked shots tonight.
Yeah, that was huge. There was no hesitation from the Kraken players to get in those shooting lanes. And if the Kings telegraphed a shot at all, you knew that a Kraken player was going to be jumping right in front of it into that lane. And it's the kind of thing that can wear down a team like LA, that can frustrate a team like LA. And, I think it added up by the end of the game.
Yeah. Another thing in this one, RJ, Daniel Sprong, please tell us he's never going to be scratched again.
I would hope not. Again, couldn't get official confirmation from Haxtell on that. I don't think that's necessarily something he would commit to. But yeah, Daniel Sprong, another fantastic game. Scoring, the tying goal on the power play. That was huge, especially given where the momentum was in the game at that point. And I like that shot 5-hole too. He was asked about it after the game, and he said, yeah, that no-look 5-hole, I've been trying it in practice. It hasn't really been working in games, so when I pulled it out, but it worked there. And credit to Allison on this. I saw it, I think, through Twitter, but I guess Allison on the broadcast pointed out that Cal Peterson is the worst goalie in the NHL when it comes to the 5-hole shots, allowing, I think, about 34% of his goals allowed have been on through the 5-hole. League average is about 14%. Great stat from Allison, and she called that, by the way, before the Sprong goal. But I thought of that immediately. I'm like, wow, that's that's something you got to learn from the pre-scout.
Right, and to be honest, I felt like the Kraken tonight were attacking the 5-hole. Like that was part of their game plan. Last game, it was you were trying to attack Shesterkin Glove's side. don't know why. He looked fantastic there. But in this one, they were attacking Cal Peterson 5-hole, and they did it, for obvious reasons. Like, it did look leaky.
Yeah, it did. And I think that's something that dates back to even last season and before that. So it's something that's definitely got to come out in a pre-scout, and Daniel Sprong took advantage.
Yeah, for sure. And then just the idea of you don't even let the Kings lead in this game for 20 seconds, right? They pick up that lead on a shorthanded goal, like that has all the potential in the world to be that momentum shift that in a tight game like this is going to be everything. And for Daniel Sprong and the whole team really to just focus on moving down the ice quickly like that, Daniel Sprong to take that shot the way he did at the time he did, as far as everything's getting set up like that. Just fantastic, because it stole all momentum back for the Kraken, and it set them up to then, eventually get the win in overtime.
Yeah, it did. And Dave Haxtell, we asked about these goals, right after another goal, these response shifts basically. And he said it's not really something that they've talked about recently, but they did have a conversation about it earlier in the season. And I think, those of us who've watched most of the Kraken games can identify around where they had that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something that they've been much improved on. He said, it's not always about going and scoring a goal the next shift, a response goal, but just having a really good, solid statement shift. And they did that tonight.
Agreed. Yeah, CR Bud Green. The thing I like about Sprong is that he isn't shy about shooting. Drives me nuts at times. Team drives me nuts at times with one too many passes. Yeah, I feel like they've really worked on that. Everybody's kind of gotten on board with that, and we saw it at the end, right, with Eberle on that game winner 2-on-1 situation. Just take the shot.
Yep. Don't overthink it. Just shoot.
Yep. Tammy talking about love how this was a physical game, but not chippy. Agreed. Like, this was just, we were talking about it earlier here in chat, kind of playoff like, right? Like, this is a divisional battle between two teams that are looking to try to make the playoffs. And they not only do they want the 2 points, but they want to make sure that they're not giving up 2 points to the other side.
Yeah, that's right. And in a game like that, you can't afford to take that extra minor in a scrum or whatever and let things get too chippy. You can't afford to do that. So neither team wanted to play that game tonight because it was close the whole time.
Agreed. So I'm going back through here. Got the studs and duds here from Sergeant Pickles. Goes in reverse order tonight for fun. All right. And that's what we can do when you win back-to-back overtime games, right? You got to have fun with it. So in reverse order for fun, duds. Beniers, 1 or 2 good moves from a Hattie at some point. All my homies hate giving up shorties. We flattered Peterson. Could have been 5 easy.
Yeah, totally could have been. Yeah, Peterson had some amazing saves. That one pass across from Beniers to McCann. I didn't see if he got a toe on it or what happened there. Or if it hit the post, something. But yeah.
There was definitely a McCann one that hit the post. Beniers hit another post. Like, there were so many posts / crossbars. Again, like it's just killing the Kraken right now.
Yep.
At some point, they're going to go in. That's for sure. And then on the stud side, Jonesy still putting in work. Lars has had enough of your foolishness, sir. And Daddy Ebbs putting the kids to bed. Honorable mention, Borgs being an absolute warrior. Yeah, first off, how's Will Borgen doing? Does he seem okay?
Yeah, he seemed to. I mean, he came back, he finished the game. You could tell he was still kind of fighting through it. I didn't see him in the room after the game or anything. Just about everyone had cleared out. So can't really tell for sure. We'll see. They have a practice scheduled for tomorrow, but after another win, I don't know that one's going to stand. But we'll keep an eye on Borgen and how he's doing.
Yeah, another overtime win too. I feel like against a big physical game, you block a lot of shots. If ever there's a time to maybe take a maintenance day, it's after a night like tonight. Borgen only 15:32 time on ice tonight, so maybe he's played a little bit light there. Let's see, Eberle, another big topic of conversation of the post game tonight. He's been just on fire lately. Like, he's absolutely killing it. The switch has been flipped on.
Yeah, I mean, we know that he's a streaky player. We know what he can do when he's on, and it's just been amazing to watch it. He can just power a team almost on his own at these times when he's really going. And let's not even focus on the cold streaks and all of that stuff, because we're enjoying the fun part right now. But yeah, he's certainly been playing really great, and since having another kid, maybe that has something to do with it. But yeah, he's been awesome, and he's been shooting. He hasn't been hesitating too. He's been really confident in everything that he's doing, and I think that's a characteristic of streaky players too. Just being confident in their decisions or unconfident if it's not going well. But we're seeing the positive end of that.
Yes, and that is actually something we talked about on post game. Let's see. Lindsay Peterson robbed Burakovsky so many times. I swear it felt like Berkey had a vendetta against him by the end there and wanted to score so bad instead of passing to Lars. Did feel that way, maybe
Yeah,
a little
it
bit.
did.
Yeah, Burakovsky, he's had a lot of chances here as of late. The other one, not Andre, Oliver Bjorkstrand, RJ.
Yeah.
Gets shuffled around in the middle of this one, ends up kind of down on the fourth line, only 12:41 ice time in this one. Like, we'll probably dig deeper into it when we record the deep dive here in the next little bit, but I don't know what the solution is to help get him going. I just know that this probably isn't it.
Yeah, no, this isn't it. And I think that move was just a situational one in this particular game. And you know what? I actually like it because you move Ryan Donato up to that third line with Tanev and Gord. I thought he was awesome in killing away the, those last few shifts basically where you're trying to pick up at least a point. You're trying to keep the pressure on the Kings. He just had tenacious forechecking all night. It was one of those Ryan Donato games where you're like, oh my gosh, he's the guy who's putting in the most effort, and you want to reward that. And I think especially on that line, you could put them out there when the game was late and you knew that nothing was going to get even close to your net. So I'm okay with that. On the other end, you put Bjorkstrand back to the fourth line. I don't think that necessarily helps him. But to close out a game like this, I have no issue with it. I think going forward, I don't know, I'd like to see him put him in an advantageous spot. Maybe put him back. What was it with Wenberg and
Burakovsky?
Yeah, and Burakovsky. I mean, put him back in that spot to get him going. Obviously, the fourth line isn't going to work, and I just don't think the chemistry is there on that third line. But I mean, that's the advantage though of having a player like Bjorkstrand, where you can move him wherever. Is that he can play on whatever line. He's not going to hurt any line, and you don't have to find a specific place necessarily for him, but you got to put him in a spot to succeed.
Right. And then also right decision to start Martin Jones, 1000%. I really like that one, just because all the Guru talk coming into this game and everything, really liked starting Martin Jones for this one.
Yes, you had to do it given how he's been playing. I mean, until he has a game that's not excellent like he's had, you just have to keep starting him. And I have no issue with it. And also, he's just money against the Kings in his career, even more so at Crypto.com Arena, but got Staples Center, even more so at Staples Center. But yeah, Jones is just great against the Kings. You got to look at that matchup as well. Maybe Grubauer gets the start against the Sharks, but I mean, at this point, with all the days of rest, why not just go back to Jones?
Right. Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, just give Grubauer that extra little bit of time. Seen a lot of stuff here in chat about how, you start Gru against Vegas, right? We all know what happens.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's the one coming up. Yeah. That's the start you give him.
Yeah, I think that's the one. And so maybe you give him the San Jose start just to get him a game before that bigger Vegas game. Maybe, I don't know. The Sharks are playing good right now. I don't think they're a team you can kind of count on an easy win and make a decision like that.
Erik Karlsson's getting at 2 to 3 points alone. So
yeah, well, he must have been held to at least only one tonight as they lost to the Rangers 2-1. Sharks probably that's more of what they want this year, I'm sure. Let's see. Lots of good stuff in here. Yeah, Allison was awesome tonight between the glass. Like, I really liked having Allison there. It was a lot of fun. McCann getting his 100th career goal. It's a nice milestone. We're getting lots of milestones for the Kraken here.
Yeah, we are. I mean, first of all, Strawberry spoke it into existence before the game. He had a real nice segue. It's like, it's the Kraken's 100th game ever. And speaking of triple digits, Jared McCann with a goal would get his 100th in the NHL. So we were all very aware of it, when that goal happened. And so we were rushing to tweet the whole 100th goal thing. But yeah, good play from Jared McCann. I mean, being in the right spot to pick up that rebound, good awareness on Matty Beniers to get out of the way of that shot. Yes. Sometimes that can make all the difference.
Yes, and Beniers, I believe they added Beniers as an assist on there, so Beniers gets a point. Like, let's get those going again, right? Like, let's get back to that. Question here, and I don't know the answer. You probably would, RJ. Did I hear right on the broadcast? John and Allison are calling the rivalry game tomorrow.
Oh, I I don't know about that because I
Okay.
obviously didn't watch the broadcast, so I didn't
Yeah.
hear anything there. I don't know who's calling it, but that would make sense to me,
Hmm.
and I would
Yeah.
hope so. That would be great.
Yeah.
So I'll keep tabs on that and see if we can confirm that.
Yeah. I just thought maybe one of them talked about it at morning skate or something, maybe. Um,
They were
uh,
talking about Allison certainly was talking about the game, but I didn't hear anything about broadcasting.
yeah, no worries. Stratic, Donato was killer on the forecheck tonight. Also, Brandon Tanid leading the team with 4 hits. Yeah, this was the first game that I really felt like I noticed Donato in kind of a big way. And it was especially on the forecheck, like first guy in, you know what I mean? Like the moment there's the dump in or anything goes towards the corners, Donato was just like flying to get there.
Yeah, I mentioned tenacious forecheck earlier. That's absolutely what he brought tonight. And again with the Bjorkstrand move, like when you see a guy playing like Donato was tonight, you just feel like, okay, I have to get this guy more minutes. And I think that's really
Yeah.
what it was all about.
Yeah, agreed. Obligatory. This was the 5th scratch game for Shane Wright. We'll talk more about that on the deep dive for sure. Um, there was one other thing that I was kind of saving from earlier to talk to you about from this one. I'm trying to remember what it is now.
I mean, well, while you think of it,
Yeah,
I can
go for
talk
it.
quickly about the Shane Wright thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is the 5th consecutive scratch. That means he's eligible for a loan to the
Mhm.
AHL. I did ask Dave Haxtell this morning, is that something that you and Ron are considering? He said a lot of words, didn't really give an answer one way or another. He talked about, how they know that getting game action is important for him, but it's important to make improvements day in, day out, all that sort of thing. So we didn't really get an answer on that, but I imagine we'll have some clarity soon.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. Let's see. From Ty, players like Berkey and Maddie are so close to being that next level elite player. They both do nasty stick handling and create opportunities to then have controller disconnects. So close. The future is bright. I know. I feel like Burakovsky's really been on a tear here during this homestand where like he just gets the puck on his stick and yeah, he's gonna at least, break one player's ankles on his way
Yeah.
to moving forward.
And one thing I've noticed about him too is just how long he'll hold on to the puck, but how long he's able to hold on to the puck too. I
Yeah.
mean, he's like, I'm going to hang on to this thing and circle around until I can make a good, productive play,
Mhm.
and not a moment sooner. Am I going to let
Yeah.
go of this puck? Which it's got some positives and some negatives to it, but I mean, that's a way that he generates a lot of offense.
Yeah. No, for sure. Let's see. It was nice to see. Oh, yes, this is what it was. So thank you, Sarah, for having this comment in here. It was nice to see Fleury get a lot more ice time tonight. He's looking much more confident. That was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was Cale Fleury tonight on his birthday, 24th birthday. Happy birthday, Cale. And happy birthday, Brian, RJ. We all kind of celebrated
Oh yeah,
earlier,
happy
but
birthday,
let you know.
Brian!
Yeah. Cale Fleury, I thought, played a really, really strong game. Like, yes, there was the drop stick thing on the one goal against. Like, that's you got to mention it, but one moment doesn't make a whole game usually. I thought Kale had a really nice game.
Agreed, and I so much so that I tweeted about it in the third period that he just looked so confident after having a couple games under his belt. I mean, this is really what he can do, and it's understandable after sitting for as long as he did that he would look a little shaky in those first 2 games back. But I thought this game he really came into his own. This was a kind
Yeah.
of a breakout game for Cale Fleury, and of course on his 24th birthday, happy birthday, Cale Fleury. I wished him happy birthday earlier in the day, and with his dad in attendance, which I thought was really cool. His dad coming out for these last 2 games, but he just looked so confident with the puck,
Hmm.
and the body positioning also without the puck,
Yeah.
being in the right spots, just angling out opposing forwards, kind of effortlessly, and of course his trademark physicality. He's brought that since the first game this season, but
Yeah.
it was great to see it all come together, and all with the challenge of playing on his offside. Will Borgen
Yes.
was pretty much on the right side the whole time, so Fleury had to play on his offside, and I thought he did great.
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic. I think confidence is definitely the word to drive home. I think he's getting the Will Borgen kind of treatment and that special sauce that was added to Will Borgen's game after last season and all those, days of being the healthy scratch and having to watch from the press box, but also, working through practices and getting that extra opportunity, when maybe the rest of the guys go off after a morning skate or after a practice because you're going to be that healthy scratch to work maybe more one-on-one with coaches. I feel like all that stuff's, adding to Cale Fleury's game as well. And it was really, really nice to see. And then also shout out 17-11 time on ice for Cale Fleury. That is more than both Will
Wow.
Morgan or Carson Soucy. It's a
I
lot of
did
ice
not
time.
realize it was that much.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow,
no,
that's impressive stuff.
the
If
coaching
I had
staff.
known he had played that much, I would have asked Dave a question specifically about Kale.
Yeah, no, the coaching staff was feeling it. Tied for second on the team for blocked shots with 3, same as Adam Larson, who played a whopping 25-26 tonight, like a lot of ice time for Adam Larson. Bjorkstrand led the way with 6, by the way, 6 blocked shots for Oliver Bjorkstrand tonight.
Putting in that tough work, even though, getting on the fourth line.
Yep. So yeah, I'm telling you, he contributes all the way around. All right. Wasn't trying to ignore the super chat here from Duthan. Sorry about that, Duthan. Just gonna finish the Cale Fleury stuff there. Woohoo! Shout out for 3v3 practice. I'm telling you, RJ, this is what good teams do. This is what the playoff teams do. Is they work on what they're struggling with and they get better at it. And that's really been the messaging of this week. I feel like.
Yeah, it's been so great to see that cause and effect right away, which is not a guaranteed thing because you never know when you're going to go into overtime next. But to get these 2 games going into overtime right after all that 3-on-3 practice, I mean, it's such a confidence builder, not just for their ability in overtime, but for their ability to identify an area of the game, focus on it, improve it, and have these kind of results.
Exactly. So thank you, Duthan, for the super chat, and thank you, Brian, for this new super chat here. Donato had 12:31 total time on ice of whirling dervish, chaos, grit, fight, and determination. So many of our players play like that. That's team identity. I talked about it a little bit earlier, RJ, but after everything that this team had to go through last season, all the players coming in and out of the lineup, the shortened training camp, COVID, the expansion draft, all that stuff, right? It was hard for that team to have a team identity. It was hard for everybody to buy in together. And what we're seeing from this team so far this year is a team that is bought in and they've all bought in together, right? Like they play like a team. And I thought the power play tonight was a really good example of that.
Yeah, it was, and working on some of the things that you had worked on in morning skate today, and the power play looks. I mean, it just again the cause and effect, and having a player like Ryan Donato, and you could throw Daniel Sprong in there. These guys that have just been competing for roster spots all season are still competing for roster spots, and really playing like it. I mean, that says everything about what this team is, what their identity is, and what opponents have to go up against. When everybody's kind of pulling in the same direction like that. So agreed. I think that's a good point. And thanks again for the super chat, Brian.
Yes, for sure. And happy birthday. One last
Yeah,
time.
happy birthday.
Why not? You deserve it. All right. So obviously lots of stuff from Shane in here. Yeah. What I really loved about the power play in this one, RJ, was just the movement, both of puck and player, right? Like they
Yep.
were moving the puck so confidently and so much better than they had been those last couple games. And then guys were trading spots with each other, trying to confuse the Kings defense. I thought they did a good job of kind of stretching the Kings out a little bit, right? They were opening up spaces down low. It was just so refreshing to see after this past week or so.
I always like looking at player movement on a power play because it tells you how confident everyone is.
Yes.
If you can be moving out of your regular spot and feel confident cycling there, it gives a kind of a good gauge of how the players are feeling about their power play success.
Right, and I thought Daniel Sprong might have been the best example of that. Him or Matty Beniers, those were like the 2 examples to come out of this game when it came to that. And obviously, Sprong gets that power play goal tonight. White Truck asking if there's any news on Alexiak.
No new update on Alexiak. He was out there this morning ahead of morning skate. So I saw him skating. He was working with coaches, doing some skating and passing drills in that red no contact jersey. So he's yet to shed that. He didn't fully participate in practice and everything. He did head off early. So he's not at that stage yet. He's still got a couple more steps to go before coming back, but it is good to see him on the ice, especially for what is a lower body injury when it's skating related, that he's able to go out there and skate. It seemed like he was maybe holding back just a little bit. He wasn't going 100% on the skating, but the fact that he's out there is reassuring.
Yeah, no, that is really good news. And, we'll see what the next week or so brings, especially having this nice kind of, again, longer stretch between games here. Should be good for something like that. Shout out to Cody M in here. First Kraken game did not disappoint. Traveled all the way down from Calgary with my brother. They put on a show. Yes, they did, Cody. This was a heck of a game to be your first Kraken game. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a first game to go to, and making that trip all the way down from Calgary. That's some real dedication. Love to see it.
Yes, for sure. Jake wondering, I think Bjorkstrand should get a look on Maddie's line. Maybe that gets him going. I could see that actually.
Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, let's see. I mean, who would you move off of there for him?
McCann.
Yeah, that's right. We did talk about that earlier. There you go. Yeah,
I
I could
know
see that working.
I know McCann has gotten 2 goals. Like he scored in each of the last 2 games playing on that line. But I'm telling you, when you watch it, McCann looks like he's just on a different line than them. Like he's, I don't know. It doesn't look like there's a ton of chemistry there, but it's obviously like, I don't know. It's weird. He kind of goes to these empty spots that line makes. So maybe there is chemistry there that it's just a different form of it. I don't know. But I think that would be who I would move out for Bjorkstrand in that situation.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, would you? I don't know. Can we call Bjorkstrand the 2022 version of Donskoy?
He's getting close. I mean, there was a good Twitter thread from Scott Malone, of Root Sports, earlier today that kind of detailed just how snake bitten Bjorkstrand is, and how many goals you'd expect him to have. Not just given the amount of shots he's taking, because he's shooting more than he did over the last 3 seasons, despite playing less, getting less ice time, and also his shooting talent is generally above league average over the course of his career. Everything points to the fact that he should be scoring goals.
Yeah.
But he's just not. So and until he puts one in, I think you can.
Yeah, no, for sure. Valentina Sprong has looked great. Last year was great for sending those heavy shots to the net. This year he's doing more team playing. He passes more often and quicker. Still shoots a bomb though. Yeah, like it's hard for a player to change so much about their game, to fight for another chance at the NHL, particularly kind of this far into their career, and to put in all that work and make all the strides that he's made, but still not lost that like core thing that got him to the NHL in the first place. You know what I mean? Like just hats off to Daniel Sprong. That is a really tough thing to do.
Yeah, it's a tough balance to strike, and especially after so many years in the NHL, because it's not like this is his second or even third season
Mhm.
in the league. He's had to work at this for a long time, but to finally get it right has got to be so satisfying for him.
Yes, some good stuff here from Coop. Tonight's power play goal perfectly demonstrates my point about just string easy passes together quickly is better than taking a long time to find the home run pass. Like Maddie just passing to Schultz and Schultz over to Sprong. 2 easy passes, but made back to back quickly without stopping. I agree with Coop. Like that's what it's all about. And I've talked about this from being a Penguins fan before, right? And for years, the thing that killed me about the Penguins was their power play, and they would just hold on to the puck forever, and they just like pass it back and forth between 2 players, hoping that somehow that causes the PK unit that they're playing against to just fall apart. When all you're doing is passing on the perimeter between 2 guys, like I don't understand it. Lots of power plays kind of fall into that trap sometimes, and it's been nice that the Kraken are just kind of like, no, we want to get shots. We just need to keep the puck moving, get it to 3 different people if we have to, skate around with it, switch with somebody else with it. Like let's just get going and let's try to actually generate offense. Hats off to them for that.
Yeah, a power play is all about moving the penalty killers out of their set positions. You've got to do that somehow, and just holding onto the puck and making low danger passes, slowly is not going to do that.
Yes. So two things here about Bjorkstrand. One from Ty. Bjorky's adding way more than Donnie did, regardless of the point sheet. Bjorky's better everywhere. And then also from Daryl mentioning, Jones's awesome save percentage tonight, 933. And then the fact, again, Bjorkstrand 6 block shots. That's a lot considering he only had 12 minutes on the ice.
Yeah, no, that is a lot of blocked shots, and he always finds a way to contribute. I think that's something that's just like this core part of his game is no matter what's going on with him, he's always contributing in some way.
Yes. JMG63 with the awesome super chat coming in here. Thank you, Dylan and RJ, for providing the best Kraken coverage. You guys are killing it. You're very welcome, JMG, and thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you so much for the super chat, JMG, and for the kind words. Really appreciate that.
Definitely. Rebecca, Kraken being able to connect passes at all is a revelation after last year. It does feel that way at times.
Yep. There were a couple times this game where I noticed a pass into someone's skates, and it
Mhm.
made me realize, oh yeah, they don't do this all the time anymore. It's like
Yeah.
it stood out when I saw it.
For sure. That was something that just got bumped down from Brian. Hats off to Larson and Tanev. Absolutely erasing dudes, knocking guys into retirement. Loved it. Yeah, I mean, look, I could say great things about Adam Larson every day of
Good
the week.
wardrobe choice tonight.
Yeah, but Adam Larson, big physical game, and I felt like they kind of needed that. They needed to rely on him at times in the defensive zone to kind of be that physical presence for them against this Kings team.
Yeah, against a team as heavy as the Kings, you need some defensemen who can fight those battles. I thought Larson absolutely did his share tonight. Will Borgen, of course, doing his share
Mhm.
as always, and Cale Fleury, I thought was really good there too.
Yeah.
But Adam Larson, he's a leader on that blue line, and I think he led the way there tonight.
Yeah, I mean 25, 26 ice time again. Like that's a
Oh,
lot. That's a lot. They were definitely making sure they were using him tonight. Ty, low key need to do a sacrifice to the post or something. Our home posts tend to heavily sway not in our favor. Like what is the answer there, RJ? Because it's brutal.
I I don't know. I mean, Jordan Everly actually they asked about it after the game, and he just kind of chuckled as far as like I don't know what we need to do, But when you're winning, it gets less frustrating, I suppose. But yeah, they've got to figure out something with the posts. I don't know. It's the posts at home. You got the
Yeah,
nets just sitting there, in the tunnel. You should be able to figure out something to do with them.
I was gonna say like do you start like trying to file an angle? Do you think the NHL would care if they did that? You think the NHL would care if they did that?
Maybe if
Maybe.
Bettman found out about that one, they might have an issue there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
Just
Look,
fire the shirt Gatling gun at it. I don't know.
that was definitely something to talk about from tonight. I was gonna say just threaten their jobs. You got to have like an extra net sitting back there. Just threaten to throw that one in there, right? Try to get some form of motivation for them. Start working in our favor. Stradek Bjorkstrand is adding more than Donskoy on the score sheet in terms of points per 60. Oliver is top 8 on the team in points per 60, 5v5. Last year, Donskoy was 15th. So yeah, I mean, we talked about it. Bjorkstrand's contributing in a lot of different ways this year. It's just been unfortunate. The
Yeah.
goals haven't been coming for him.
Oh, if you look 20 games in for Donskoy last year, it might be different.
Potentially, yes. Although, Bjorkstrand's still sitting on 9 points, kind of
Yeah.
before he got moved down the lineup and stuff.
I just
It would
remember
be
Donskoy had no goals and 10 assists at some point. So I'm like, maybe.
yes. So we had Coop asking, have we weighed in as a group yet on Maddie's mustache? It's pretty solid for a young guy. And then the Sandpipes following up with the Kraken social media admin has today's win is celebrated with Beniers photoshopped as Mario from Super Mario Brothers.
I did
Love
see
it.
that. That was hilarious, by the way. I can tell you in the media circles, I won't say who I was talking to, but we are in support of Maddie's mustache. We
Mhm.
think it's really cool, and we're impressed that someone, especially like at his age, is able to do that. And there were definitely a few. I wish I could grow one like that. From the media group, so myself included.
I
So
was gonna say my mustache struggles are evident each and every broadcast we do here. Just look at me, right? But yeah, no, it's impressive what he's able to put together. Absurdly saying it makes him look middle aged. Brian siding with absurdly saying there, yeah. I mean, he almost looks middle aged to begin with. Like he's just got
yeah,
that kind of like
but he looks
that
again. He
look
looks
in him.
older than he is.
He
I
carries himself
I
that
forget
way.
who it was in the media room that said it. You can usually tell by the eyebrows whether they'll be able to grow a good mustache.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I think there
it
might be
just
something to that.
Just like everywhere. He's got a good head of hair on him too.
Yep.
Like it's there. The genes are just there. Sean, is there any stat source for shots off the post? Do they even count as shots on goal? So they definitely don't count on as shots on goal. I don't know if there's like a good place to go for that records and tracks that.
Maybe if you scroll to the right enough on Money Puck, somewhere. They always have a bunch of the obscure ones. That would be my guess. I don't know if they're recorded differently. Or they must be. They must be. But if you go back and
Yeah.
look at the official score sheet for this game, and there should be enough of them you could pick them out to see if there was a designation for off the post. And then if it's recorded differently, there must be somewhere that has it.
Yeah. I just don't know that there is, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's
Good
just a
luck.
shot attempt, I think. Yeah. Aaron, good day, all. It's nice to be able to forecheck and not give any chances the other way. And Kraken are playing with speed so much faster than last year. I agree with that, Aaron. Good to have you in here, right
Mhm.
at the tail end of post game here. But for sure, let's see. Hitting the pipe is a shot attempt, but not a shot on goal, if I recall right. It's from Brian there. Yes, that is right. And SJ Beniers looks 30 now, and he'll look 30 when he's 50. Probably. Might
That's
just be one
true.
of those people. Yep, might just be one of those people. Good for them too, by the way.
Yep.
Good for them as they age. All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and call post game here, just right here on the hour, almost on the dot. Thanks everybody for joining us here on Emerald City Hockey's post game live after each and every game. It's totally awesome. Presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall, and this Kraken picking up points. RJ, 15 points out of the last 10 games. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff. They're keeping pace at near the top of the Pacific Division. I mean, this is exactly what we wanted going into the season.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so that's gonna do it for us, everybody. Good stuff coming on the next deep dive for sure. Kind of been dropping hints of what we'll be talking about. Should be a good one. And then yeah, get a nice little break for the Kraken here. They can recover from tonight, and then also continue to work on all the good work that they've been doing this past week or so. And we've been seeing how it's all paying off. Definitely, we'll talk about it on the deep dive, RJ. But I think we're right there at that hashtag back the hack. I
Yeah,
think we gotta be
I
there.
think we might
Gotta
be.
be there. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you all next time.